Hi, I'm Norman Brooks. I'm 91 years old. I was born in England in Loveday Street Hospital a very long time ago. When I was in Stratford-on-Avon one time, I went to Holy Trinity Church and looked up the name of William Shakespeare, and in 1563, four names under William Shakespeare is a guy called William Brooks. So I don't know, I may have a relationship back there, not sure. So there you go. No, my mother was one of 13 children, so my father was born in 1896 and he was 18 at the start of the First World War, and he joined the Royal Engineers, and he was over in France, and when he came back, and from what I understand, he started a round with a horse and a cart taking vegetables around the streets selling them. My earliest memories, of course, were in a small house in Malthouse Lane in Birmingham, Saltley. Three boys in the one room, and my mother and father and a baby daughter in the other room. So anyway, her cot was up against the window. She leaned out the window and fell out the window. She fell about 7 or 8 feet, but she happened to land on the folding mangle. This one had a tabletop. She had happily landed on that, but she was okay. She didn't have to go to the hospital, as I remember. My father wasn't very interested in going down to see his father, my grandfather at that time. So he would, because it was cheaper for us to go, we could go for a penny on the bus, and it would cost him sixpence or something. So he would send us kids, and he would give us a shilling and say, here, go buy your granddad some beer when you get there. And he would give us the bottles and say, okay, take these. So we'd go to the liquor store, and here we are, like, what, I don't know, 10, 12 years old, go into the liquor store, and the people behind the bar, they would recognize the bottles and say, oh yeah, this is for Mr. Brooks, yes. And so they'd fill up the bottles, and you'd pay them their 10 pence or whatever it was, and you'd take them back, and there you are, and Grandad was very happy. On the weekend, we would probably cycle down to Stratford-on-Avon or to Evesham, which was 30 miles away, or we would take a bike and pack all your food and your camping equipment on your bike and cycle down to Stratford-on-Avon. There was a little camping area on the edge of the river which had a dock, and the water overflowed a little, 6 or 8 inches up into the grassy area, and so that's where we would swim on the right in the edge of the Avon River there. And one of these days, a little boy came running down, figuring out the water was only 6 inches deep all the way across, and it was not. So when he got to the dock, he just went straight down. I happened to be sitting on the edge of the dock with my feet in the water, and just grabbed the little bagger and pulled him out of it and sat him back on the dock, and his mother came screaming down and grabbed him. So anyway, that was quite an exciting time. We would listen to the radio every night at 9 o'clock at night. You'd listen to the 9 o'clock news or the 6 o'clock news. You'd listen to BBC, and you know, either Chamberlain or Churchill would come on and tell you that you're in dire trouble and that the war is going to happen, you know. But as a kid, you weren't taking a lot of notice, you know. You were saying, oh, okay, you know, well, when they come, we'll beat them anyway.